Hi everybody, it's Gemma. Welcome back to Pampered Wolf. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you are watching this video in the world. If you are new here, hi. Welcome to the Pampered Wolf Pack. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button and also that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. I upload on Mondays and Thursdays at 8 PM London time, and I'm also on Instagram if you want to follow me on there as well. It's at Pampered Wolf, all lowercase, no spaces. If you like this video, if you think you're gonna like this video, please do make sure you click that thumbs up button. It always makes me understand whether I'm going in the right direction with things, and at this time in the morning I need all the help I can get. I need a rather large tub of caffeine this morning, very, very early in the Pampered Wolf household. Busy day coming up. Anyway, as you can see, just woken up, not looking my best. We're not even going to mention my hair and the huge stripe on my face, which is a pillow mark, which will not go. I've obviously been laid on this side of my face. I need a valve in my cheek and a bike pump just to... yes, done. Anyway, let's get on with this video. Today, I'm going to be reviewing something that has been long awaited. I absolutely love a brand that actually listens to their customers, and Rihanna and her team have definitely done that at Fenty Beauty. There were so many people screaming at this brand to bring out a more hydrating product because the original Pro Filt'r foundation, if you got normal to dry skin, it's just unwearable. It just sits in every single dry patch. It makes your face look very, very dry, even if it isn't very, very dry. It's overly matte. It emphasizes every single line and wrinkle on the face because it just makes the skin look dehydrated. So I am super, super excited that they brought out a more hydrating version. By the way, the normal Pro Filt'r is absolutely amazing, or I've been told it's absolutely amazing for those with an oilier complexion. So it is not all doom and gloom. Loads of people love it. I personally just really did not. So really excited that they brought out a more hydrating version. This is the Pro Filt'r Hydrating Longwear Foundation. Let me just show you inside so you can see what the bottle looks like, which is completely different to the original Pro Filt'r Longwear Foundation. This is really travel friendly. It's in a plastic tube, but it does have a pump, and as you can see, this has been used already. This is not going to be a first impressions review. If you're on my Instagram already, you will have seen pictures that I've posted recently of my face with a full face of a foundation that I wasn't telling you which one it was because I didn't want to give it away too much, but I have been testing this out for a few days now, so I sort of know how it works best on my skin. So let's do a little bit of bump on this product and we'll get some on. So this is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Hydrating Longwear Foundation. Bit of a mouthful. It's £27 in the UK, $35 in the US, and you get 32 mils worth of product, which is slightly more than the 30 mil standard. It's medium to full coverage, gives a really beautiful natural sheen to the surface of the skin. It's definitely not matte, but it's definitely not overly dewy. So if you don't like a dewy foundation, but you like something that's very hydrating, then this one might be one to consider. This is really long wearing, also comes in 50 shades from the lightest of the light to the darkest of the dark, and also comes in several different undertones. So we've got cool, warm, neutral, and several olive shades to choose from as well. This is perfect if you've got normal to dry skin. It's also got grapeseed oil in here for hydration, so if you really struggle with oils in your foundations, definitely get a sample of this to try before you buy. This is sweat and humidity resistant. It doesn't contain a lot of alcohol, so it can be suitable for those with really sensitive skins. And it's also cruelty free. Let's get some of this on the skin. Okay, so I've already got all my skincare on my face and I've given that plenty of time to sink into the skin before I'm about to apply the foundation. Also, as per usual, I am not gonna be wearing a primer today. I think it's really, really important that you see what the foundation looks like without a primer, and you also see at the end of the day how it's worn without any help from primers or setting sprays. That way you can make your own mind up whether you think it will work for you, and then by all means you can put a primer or a setting spray to help the foundation out even further. Let's get some of this on. It's actually a semi-liquid foundation. It's definitely holding its shape. If I tilt my hand, it will run, but it's not overly liquidy. It's not also overly thick, so it's in the middle. So you do have to be really, really careful with this foundation. It's one of those foundations that you can apply the smallest amount more on top of the foundation and it look like a complete mask. So you do have to be careful not to apply too much product. Also, if you apply too much of this foundation, it can be rather sticky on the skin. It doesn't dry down like a matte foundation would. So if you don't like that feeling of a foundation that might transfer, then this one might not be for you, because this is not transfer resistant. Okay, so that's where we're going to leave it on that side. I'm going to switch to a blending sponge and go in on the other side. So let's just see if this is buildable over my acne scarring on the side that I've applied with a sponge, which I've got less coverage. On this side, everything is covered, but it's a full medium to low full coverage on this side of my face straight away with the brush, whereas this side is a little bit more natural and I prefer this look to the full coverage side. Like I said before, this foundation really does sit on the surface of the skin. It doesn't look like it's one with the skin. It definitely looks like foundation. So if you're wanting more of a natural look, this might not be the foundation for you, especially if you're wanting a really full coverage. I do really like this. I've not taken it down my neck, even though I do feel like this shade is slightly too pink for my skin. This is one of the neutral shades in 150, but I do feel like the Fenty Beauty neutral shades run more pink than yellowy golden. So if you do have a neutral yellowy golden skin, it might be best for you to go for more of a warm shade than a neutral shade. I'm gonna put the rest of my products on and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the finished look for today. I've gone for something quite natural because I am going to the football match later and they will all look at me like if I've got a full face of glam on at the football. So I've gone for something quite natural. I really love how this foundation is looking on my skin. If I'm being completely honest, it had too much of a sheen on the surface of the foundation and did look too mask-like for me when I first put it on. So I have dumbed that down a little bit with a little bit of powder, and I do now think this looks very natural on my skin. Even though this side is quite full coverage, this side is a little bit more natural. Love, 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 love. I think it looks really pretty on my skin. It looks very youthful, very glowy, without being overly dewy. Now it did sink into my smile lines a little bit, so it is one of those foundations that is gonna move slightly throughout the day unless you powder it in place. So I have placed a little bit of powder around this area as well. This is a foundation that is going to go cakey throughout the day if you are adding powder on top of powder on top of powder, because it does stay a little bit tacky to the touch. If that is not your thing, then stay away from this foundation. I really like it though. I'm going to show you this in natural lighting just so you've got both perspectives. As you can see, it's looking really flattering on my skin. My pores are a little bit accentuated because this is a radiant foundation at the end of the day. It's not a matte foundation, so it's not going to be airbrushing on those pores. If you want that, you are going to need to add a primer underneath if you do have those large pores. But I really like it. I think it's really flattering on my skin. I'm going to see how this wears throughout the day. Obviously, I know how this is going to wear throughout the day because I've been wearing this for the last 3 days running, so I know how this is going to wear, but just for your enjoyment, we are going to see how this is going to wear. I'm going to give this the workout of its life at the football because I get very excited, and when I get very excited, I start to move a lot and, you know, the oils come through the skin. We're going to give it a workout. I will see you all at the first check-in. See you all in a bit. Welcome back to the check-in. It's now been just under 6 hours since I first applied the foundation to my face. I thought I would jump on and do a quick check-in. I have been out all afternoon, so this is the first opportunity that I've had to film. I have been to the Sheffield United football game. We won 1-0. It has been very tense. One of the best games I have witnessed ever. We have now won our first home game within the Premier League, after promotion. I am so happy. It's untrue. So there has been a lot of face touching while I've been at the game, like, you know how it is. So at the moment I have hardly any foundation left on my chin. There is still a little bit there, but I don't actually blame the foundation. However, the foundation is looking a little bit shiny now. It has only been 6 hours, and this will be the time where I would be perhaps adding a little bit of powder to it. This is not perfect anymore. Let me just zoom you in. By all means, it does not look awful. It just is extremely shiny around my nose, on the tip of my nose, definitely on my chin. It's going a little bit patchy. I've had my sunglasses on during the game, so here it's rubbed off, and around my nose here it's rubbed off again. I was wearing sunglasses. I don't hold that against the foundation, but I do think at this stage it would have been beneficial had I had my Hourglass primer on, which not only would have smoothed my skin out, but it would have also increased the longevity of this foundation. Anyway, we're going to see how long this lasts for. I will check in with you a little bit later on. Hi everybody, welcome to the second and final check-in of the day. I'm really pleased that I can take this off my face in a minute. I'm gonna go and have a really nice hot bath. I am shattered after the day. It's been a fantastic day, but I am really tired, and it is showing in my face. Now, I'm looking a bit of a hot mess, I'm not gonna lie, and the foundation really hasn't helped matters throughout the day. I am really super pleased that I've been trialing this foundation out for the last 3 days, because if this was a first impressions review, my opinions would be completely different. But I already know that this foundation is excellent depending on how you actually use it. So let's talk about the positives that I've learned from this foundation. One, it doesn't massively move on the face throughout the day unless you're constantly touching your face. If you are a face toucher, this is going to lift unless you powder it considerably, and I wouldn't recommend that you do powder this considerably, because it will go cakey throughout the day if you do add a lot of powder onto the top of this foundation. So if you are a real face toucher, this will lift and it will go patchy throughout the day. But it hasn't massively moved on my skin, other than the areas where I've been touching it a lot throughout the day. This also hasn't oxidized throughout the day, it hasn't changed colour at all. It's stayed very true to the pigmentation that I first put on my skin. So that is a massive plus, because so many foundations oxidize on my skin recently, and finding one that doesn't is excellent. So as you saw in the 6-hour check-in, will be nice. My foundation looked a little bit shiny, a little bit patchy in places, a little bit cakey around the nose maybe, not being kind at all. It didn't look great. It really didn't look great, and I wouldn't have been happy with it on a first impressions review. But I know the foundation can look better than that and last longer than this. But you do need a primer. And for me, that's a little bit of a drawback, because it means you've got to spend more money on top of the foundation to actually buy a primer. Now, a primer for a lot of people is just a given. Every single morning you will put a primer on. For me, not so much. If I've got a foundation that will last all day without a primer, that's a bonus for me. I did wear it with a primer yesterday. I went swimming with the kids for an hour, and it was intact after an hour in the water with the kids and a really busy day. Completely intact at the end of the day. So I know this foundation can do better than it's done today. Let me just show you this in natural lighting, just so you've got it from both perspectives. As you can see, still rather patchy, even on the side that I have powdered. It settled into my smile lines a little bit, but not too much. This foundation hasn't moved around too much all day. It hasn't lifted off too much, only in the areas around my mouth area, so I'm quite pleased with that. No oxidization whatsoever, hasn't sunk into my smile lines, super happy. The one thing that I really don't like about this foundation is that if you add the tiniest amount, it does look like a mask. It sits on the surface of the skin, and it's just not one with the skin. It doesn't look like skin unless you apply the most minuscule amount, in which case you're not getting the coverage that it actually says it's going to deliver. For me, this isn't my favorite. It does not mean that this is a bad foundation at all. It's super hydrating. It doesn't contain a lot of alcohol. It doesn't contain a fragrance, I don't think. Oh, it might do. Hang on. No, doesn't contain a fragrance, so suitable for a sensitive skin, very little alcohol, no fragrance, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And if you have super, super, super dry skin, this may be an absolute skin savior for you. But for me, I would have to wear my Hourglass primer underneath this, or some sort of primer underneath this to give it longevity and just to smooth it out and maybe make me look like I've got slightly smaller pores on my face. Anyway, definitely worth trying out. Go into your nearest Boots, which is the stockist for this in the UK, or Harvey Nicks, or Sephora if you're in the US. Get a sample, try it out. Let me know what you think. If you've already tried this foundation out, do let everybody know what you think about it in the comments section below. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There is a watermark in this corner. If you click on it, it will take you through to my homepage where you can subscribe. Also, make sure you are following me on Instagram as well. It's @PamperedWolf, all lowercase, no spaces. I am now going to get into the hottest bath, take all this off, put my feet up and watch a box set. Sounds divine. Hope to see you all in the next video. Bye.